Hey everybody, what's up? We are the
What's
8-Bit
up?
Upstarts. My name is Nate,
I'm Tommy.
and how's it going? What's going on? How you doing?
Pretty good. I do want to say in between this podcast and the last week's podcast, you had a birthday.
Did I? Was maybe?
I think so.
Yeah.
And, I was thinking about it. I was like, what could I get Nate? What would be the best thing to get Nate? And I was thinking, you know, I decided my gift to you will be this podcast. You can just take it and I won't interrupt you one time.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe me
But I appreciate the sentiment.
either.
The
Yeah.
thought, the
Um,
thought that is what counts.
yeah, I try.
You spoil me.
Genuinely.
You spoil me, Tommy.
But
But yeah, so yeah, I did have a birthday, and I'll leave it at that because
are you
age.
21 now?
Yeah, yeah. Ugh.
I can legally
I'm
drink
a hard 21.
a hard 21. Do you play any video games on your birthday?
Oh yeah, you better believe it. I took the day off work.
Nice.
Um, I in anticipation of the new ARK Survival remaster
Oh,
dropping.
yeah.
I reinstalled the original ARK,
Yeah.
and decided and played it through the weekend. Uh, all 370 gigabytes of it.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Three.
So the reason I was very hesitant to uninstall it because of that, but it was on my main disk drive,
Hmm.
and I needed that space for Starfield and Cyberpunk.
Naturally.
Yeah, so I moved it over to. I do have an external
Hmm.
drive, and I moved it over there. And since I mainly play um, solo, single player
Right.
offline, I'm not too worried about the. It does take a little bit longer to load. I found. I
Yeah,
wasn't.
that makes sense.
I mean, but like a lot longer to load.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but with that said, um, the new Arc Remaster, um, sort of dropped, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so is this a remaster of that original 360? So is it
Yes.
still 360 gigs too, or is
No,
it?
well, not yet. So, I'll run through what basically what they're offering is, because the reason it was 370 gigabytes is because it had like 10 different maps that you could play
Mm,
on, and each map is like the size is enough for like one video game, So
gotcha.
basically,
Yeah.
they just keep it, and from what I think they even like confirmed is like they had a lot of bad code,
Oh, yeah.
that just like had
Eight
unnecessary,
space.
yeah, 8 space. So with this new release of Arc Remastered, which what they did was they upgraded to Unreal Engine 5.
Gotcha.
And they kind of like implied that they rebuilt it, but I don't know how much that's actually true. But it does look gorgeous. From I have not got a chance to play it yet because
Hmm.
um, so well, okay, actually first I'm getting ahead of myself. So what they're offering is the first map, just one map, for $40, and you also get all of the other original maps remastered for free later once they release them.
Okay.
So technically, the game is, when all is said and done and all those maps are released, you're paying $40 for everything, whereas the previous one you were paying 60 for everything. And
Oh,
then like
okay.
I think they did say they're going to be releasing like new story maps, which you will have to pay extra for because they're new.
Oh,
Which
okay.
that's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, honestly, I'm
Right.
I'm happy. I'm happy with the $40 price tag,
Hmm.
for for a game that came out, I think like 2015, 2016 or something
Right.
like that.
And updated visuals, like moving to Unreal 5 and stuff.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, but they're releasing it on Steam. They just released it on Steam. So here's the crazy thing that I took away from this. So yesterday, what I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah.
Wednesday, yesterday, was the Xbox partner showcase. So they showed off like it was like a half hour of just like brand new trailers for new games that were coming out, and there's some cool ones. But I mainly watched it for the ARK one. So all we ever had going into yesterday was that ARK was going to release by the end of October. They've just been saying that. They're just like, it's just going to end. It's going to release at the end of October. Never a hard date. And then they dropped the trailer yesterday and immediately say, hey, it's releasing today. So
At the showcase is when they said all of this.
well, yeah, it was just because it wasn't like one of those like
On
convention
stage.
halls. It was just literally just a video of just trailers. But the trailer for it said when they released the Steam page said coming soon, but the video attached to it said available today on PC. So which blew my mind. I mean, people were kind of figuring it would be close. I wasn't expecting, it is the end of October,
Day of.
so yeah,
I guess
but
that's
like
true.
the first gameplay footage trailer, and then they're like, "Hey, here's the game!" Boom. That blew my mind. I like it definitely had a lot of hype because everybody's just like, "What are they doing? Like, why aren't they telling us when this is going to release?" And I guess they kind of wanted to surprise us. And but then of course in typical wildcard fashion, which is the developer or publisher. I can't remember which one it is. It's Wildcard and Snail Games, I believe. But they came out and said that they were anticipating a 6 p.m. Central Time release date, and then that came and went. And they released it. And it was like, okay, sorry guys, it's gonna be another 2, 3, 4 hours. And then that came and nothing. And then so I finally I went to bed and I'm like, okay, well, I'm obviously not playing it tonight because it was like 10:30. I'm like,
yeah,
this isn't happening because it's gonna take at least like another hour to like get it all installed and like set up. But then of course like I woke up this morning and I had a email saying ARK is live at like 12:30 a.m. Like,
that's so weird. I wonder what happened.
I don't know. It's like a friend of mine brought up a good point, and that is like obviously they were still working on the game until like the last second, because otherwise you would have been able to like preload it, right, if it were finished and it wasn't just like some like
that's true.
But to be fair, this is considered early access.
Oh,
so it's not supposed to be like
perfect,
fully finished. Yeah, which I get that. That's fine. Because it doesn't release on consoles for like at least another month, I believe. So I think they're just using PC as like a testing ground,
Right. Yeah.
And just kind of get things. So, but they've already released. They've already started. So I've been. This was a mistake in the first place. Is reading the discussion panel, like the forums,
reading comments at all on the internet.
Gosh. People, I'm gonna take
chill
a second
out.
here. Yeah, just chill.
Get on your soapbox.
Yeah, get on my soapbox. It's okay. It's a game,
right?
Like I was reading, like some people were saying like, oh, they didn't release it at when they said they we're gonna file a false advertisement lawsuit, and I'm like, what?
Why?
Why?
To what end?
Yeah. Okay. Say you win, you get $2.50. You get $2.50.
Yeah, like I got my Facebook biometric money the other day, $7.20. Let's go.
Yeah.
$7 at Applebee's.
Yeah, that's a good
But
time.
yeah, it's like I feel like there are a lot of things to like as gamers we could and should be vocal about, and like that is one that's like that's not a fight worth having. Like that one's just
No.
why?
And it's like, do you feel so entitled to a product that you've spent no money on? There's no pre-order. Everyone's
right.
just like, don't pre-order the game, don't pre-order. Okay, well, there's no pre-order. It's just dropping.
Right,
And
it's just here now.
it's like, okay, sorry you planned your evening to play this game, but it's a video game. Video games are hard to make.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of video games that are hard to make, we talked about this at like after we ended the podcast last week, but that Skull Island Rise of Kong.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Did you? Oh my god. So I'm sure by now everyone has seen, like, it's been all over the internet. But did you see like the studio that developed it is a studio that just like cranks out games, and it had only been in development for like barely a year or something like that. Like,
Well,
it's
it
just,
shows.
yeah. Like when your trailer has like a still image in it, that was the funniest thing I've seen in a while. Like
It was so
I had to
bad.
watch it multiple times to be like, is this for real? Like, this is for real. Like, someone released this and went, I'm proud of this work.
Well, I mean, let's not go that far.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But like, someone released this and was like, yes, this is
This
good
is
enough
fine.
to be released.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is fine.
I was watching some video, and like, it really does look like if like video game development was a class you could take in college, this was like someone's sophomore year in college attempt at developing a video game. Like,
Yeah,
if you would
like
have told me
their
that
final
like
year project
these were
or
college
whatever.
kids, that were working on a project, I'd be like, damn, that's pretty good. But like, that's not what this was.
No, no. This was well, I won't say legit studio. I guess.
Yeah, I don't.
But
It was,
okay, that's mean. Obviously it's a legit studio, but not a probably well funded studio.
no, yeah.
And I'm gonna assume even with a year development time, I'm gonna guess they were worked so hard.
Developers, from Iguana B, which is the name of the developer,
Not familiar,
said
but-
the game was made in 1 year from scratch with very little funding.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna say it's probably not the developer's fault.
Yeah, no, I don't. I definitely am not. I think that's a that's like a higher up level problem.
Yeah. And I think that speaks to a larger problem across the gaming industry, is that it seems like a lot of the bad decisions made in video games are as a result
Top down.
of poor executive decisions.
Yeah, I would say it does feel like we're at a point where it's, kind of going off that. I just remembered this article I read. Do you remember the Alice games by American McGee? Like,
Yeah.
Alice.
Oh yeah. I saw that was
Did you
trending.
see
I
this?
didn't get a chance to read what actually happened.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, Alice is a really dark, twisted take on the Alice in Wonderland games by a publisher. I think it's actually the guy's name, like American McGee. I think that's that
That's
dude's
a
name.
fantastic name.
Yeah, I can't really figure that out. But he released a game back in like the early 2000s.
I think that's
I can't remember what the titles of the game were, but there were two that came out. One in early 2000, one in like 2011, 2012. It was like a sequel, and he had planned on making a third one. And EA is the publisher, and so they own the rights to it. And so for the between that second game and just, I think 2017, 2018, he had been putting together, him and like his studio team, putting together like a whole design bible for like what they want that third Alice game to look like. And they're like, all the fans are like, they want a new Alice, but he's just like, EA owns the rights, we have to talk with them. And so they did some crowdfunding and all this stuff, and so they put together this whole design bible to like pitch it to EA, like, hey, we think we got something that would be pretty good. And in 2017, EA was like, hard pass. And so, but they're not going to release the rights to it because that's how things go. So I think he took some time away from like social media because he was just like devastated because he can't complete the game that he like created himself. And so he just posted on, I think, what the former Twitter X, or
Formerly
whatever.
known as Twitter.
Yeah. Kind of like telling the fans, like, basically, like, you need to move on because there's nothing we can do at this point. Saying that, like, EA owns the rights and we can't do anything about it. He released that design Bible, like, to everyone. And like, he goes into, like, more, like, talking more about how, like, he thinks, like, in the future, AI might be able to take that design Bible and create the game for, like, he's like, that's kind of a controversial take, and I don't know how people feel about it, but, like, that could be a thing that happens since EA won't do anything with it. But the article that I was reading that was kind of summarizing all of that was saying how, like, EA is just content with just the money train that is all the sports games they make. Yeah. And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, EA did used to have some, like, cool non-sports games back in the day, and then, like, cult classics like the Alice series. And so it is kind of sad to see that, like what would they stand to lose by trying to develop that? You know what I mean? Like, I think they're effectively the publisher. They're not even the developer, so they just have to front money and then market it a little bit. And they don't. I don't ever remember the other games being marketed. I heard it, like, word of mouth from friends at school. They're like, oh, this, like, sick and twisted game based on Alice in Wonderland, but it's actually kind of cool. And so it's like, what? Okay, so you lose money. I'm sure you'll make it with the next Madden, right? Like, right. It's so dumb. Like, what do you stand really to lose by not publishing that game?
Yeah, again, that's a much bigger issue, and it's not even
gamers. If you want something to fight about, that's what you get vocal about.
Yeah. It almost kind of it's kind of a reflective of also, like, the movie industry.
Oh yeah.
You have all these like big tentpole movies, and I mean, I love Marvel movies. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
But people flock to those movies because studios make these movies because they make a lot of money, and they're like, well, why would we spend any money on smaller indie movies or just, like, more artsy projects? And
it's all that ROI. You gotta give it to the shareholders, man. They're the ones that are struggling.
Won't somebody think of the shareholders?
Yeah, somebody think of the shareholders. But I was ultimately what I wanted to go until I remember that Alice thing was, like, it feels like, and I think you could say this about movies too, but it's like we either have remake after remake after remake, or like sports games that are the same game every year, but we don't really have a lot of these, like, it's that, or it's quantity over quality. Like, we don't really have a lot of, like, those good quality games that, like, kind of came out of nowhere. Like an Alice, like, that's, like, not a game you hear about, but, like, it's really beloved. It's, like, got that cult feel to it, and it's like we don't really get that anymore. We get Madden after Madden, and then the other option is we get a studio like Iguanabee, who seems to be putting out a lot of Skull Island Rise of Kongs, like, left and right, as fast as they can. And it's just,
and I also wonder, is there a rights issue here? Is this something like they were able to acquire, like, video game rights for the King Kong property, and do they just, like, have a limited amount of time to do something with it before?
So it's funny you say that. According to one former Iguanabee employee who did not work on Skull Island but worked on other Game Mill published games, so I think whatever the parent publisher, it was very common for the team to be provided with limited information on projects, meaning they had to improvise. So, like, somehow they got, well, like, because King Kong, is that public domain at this point? That's been out. That's a thing for a while.
Because I know, like, movie rights are a little different, I think. Because King Kong's owned by Universal?
Yes.
I think.
Yep.
But I really
anyway,
don't know. Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's a different conversation.
So they're like, here is the title of your game, probably. That's it. Make a game.
Here you go. So I can't. I'm not gonna bash the devs on
No,
this one
they
because
did.
I'm sure they did what they could.
Remember how I said I wasn't going to interrupt you?
I can't.
I can't with this.
I can't work like this. But no, but I was gonna say, I don't know what I was gonna say.
The devs.
But it's just, I don't know. Like being when I first went to college, my freshman year, I wanted to be a video game developer. And I started taking video game developers classes or just like programming classes, period. And after probably about half a semester, I realized I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm never going to pick this up because this is just like way more complicated than I was really anticipating. Albeit at that time, video games were a little different. It was a while back. But like, I feel like if you want to be a developer for video games, you have to really want to be a developer and really love your job, because everything I've heard about it sounds awful.
Right. Yeah.
The time crunches, the low pay, but you're doing it because you love video games and you just want to work on video games. So
yeah,
so I'm not gonna bash them for.
Yeah, and that's what I was just seeing in the article too. Like they developed this for a year and they've been in a crunch since February. So that's like 8 straight months of working more than 8 hours a day, and probably on the weekends too. So it's just like, absolutely. I definitely, like I don't think we can say it hard like enough. Like, it's not the developer's fault. It's like the actual developers. It's the developer company's fault.
Yeah,
like from the top.
It's their bosses.
Yeah. Anyway.
So all right, well, that's our little rant on that.
Yeah. So another one thing I did play recently. So I did get into Starfield.
Yeah.
I played a couple hours, just a little bit. Did a couple quests. I don't know. Is it spoilers to talk about like side quests?
I mean,
This
maybe
is
not.
the side quest from the tree.
Okay, yeah, I did that one. The tree guy.
So that was a lot of steps for 100 experience.
Yeah.
Because like I had been doing it, and then there's just a couple times where it's like, all right, come back to me later. So then I would go do other quests and do stuff, and then come back.
Like, okay, I can
do a little bit more.
The next step. Yeah.
But like there were like a dozen things you had to do, and then he's like, here's like a couple thousand credits, which cool, and then 100 experience, and I'm like, I know this wasn't like heavy lifting that I did, but like you made me go a lot of places and do a lot of things. Like, give me 250 minimum. Like even that would have been like a pittance, but like that was like one of the things I did when I played. Like I completed a couple side quests that I had been like kind of trailing off and not finishing, so I finished a couple of those. But I don't have a whole lot to talk about that other than that. The only thing that I think I'm going to start getting into, like I'm going to abandon a lot of other things to do, is I'm going to start. I've seen so many cool bases that people have built, like outposts, and like I really want to start. I have to go kill some stuff to like spec into that, but like I want to like start building some cool bases, because like some of these I've seen are just like they're insane, and I'm never going to build something that wild, but like I do want to like get something built, because I think that would be. I mean, I know you've done it a little bit.
You have any kind of outpost right now?
I have nothing in outposts. No.
Okay, all on your ship.
So, yeah, everything's on my ship. I do have an outpost built just to say that I've done it, and I built it on Earth because I was like, I just want to do that, even though Earth's like the worst, because there's Mercury there,
Earth
and then
is
there's
just
nothing
the worst.
else. Yeah.
Do not recommend.
Yeah, 0 out of 10. But another game I played, because I've been wanting to play it and I didn't realize they had a demo on Steam, was Atomic Heart. And because I saw it, it's been on my wish list, so like I'm waiting for it. It actually, I think, went on sale, but it was like still like $40 or something, and I was like, I don't really want to add another game that I won't play for that much. But then I saw there was a demo, so I downloaded that and tried it out, and man, does it feel like Russian BioShock Infinite. Like, it's not the exact same, but there is so much that gives it that feel. I think it's built in, like, they're both built in the Unreal Engine, I believe. I'm
Okay.
not positive, but like even like the visuals and like kind of the way it plays feel very BioShock, like
Mhm.
specifically Infinite. Um,
Well, I'll say that that's almost exactly how saw it. Like
yeah.
I heard it was like very Bioshock-y,
Hmm.
and it definitely has that like um I don't know, well, like that kind of like 70s Russian
Yeah.
vibe.
It's basically
Um
Russia wins World War II, and then they like create this thing that allows them to like, you know, expand technologically,
mhm.
and a plague forces them to build a place in the sky. And
Mm.
um
I mean, it's
but
very Bioshocky.
yeah. And so uh the the gameplay does, at least in the very beginning, there's a lot more focus on like close quarter combat. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of like visual cues to let you dodge. Otherwise, you will just get destroyed. Like you can't just like take hits like you can in like a lot of games where you can just kind of get beat up, but you can like beat them up first. So
Hmm.
like I was doing that and like a good amount of stealth and stuff, but it was just like it was it was cool. Like it was definitely something that if it goes on like on summer sale for like half off or whatever, I might grab it and try it just to like play it because it is like a fully finished game. You know, it's one of those things we talked about like where you don't really see
What is
that too
that?
often. Yeah, right. Um, so I do want to like eventually play it, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, I got to play this now kind of thing like
Hmm.
Cyberpunk was or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it and I was intrigued, but yeah, it's like one of those games. It's like it's on my list, but it's not that high up on my list
Yeah.
because I apparently would rather play a game that I've already spent like 2,000 hours on, and then I'll just get like a remaster, and I'm like, okay, well, here's another 2,000 hours. So,
Yeah. So I did that too with something else I played recently where I was like, I've played a lot of this, but I'm gonna keep playing it. I can't remember. I did buy Parkitect too. That was something I got that
oh
was on
yeah, how's
sale.
that? Or have
It's
you played it yet?
honestly,
Oh,
yeah, I played it 69 minutes.
okay,
Nice.
nice.
Um, but it feels like it's literally exactly Roller Coaster Tycoon, but with
Okay,
more things to do. Like,
more roller coasters. Yeah.
well, more. It's actually more like administrative things in a weird way, which is
Oh,
kind of dumb.
so that's something you choose to have
I
fun
love it, right? Yeah.
with.
Well, because it's like, so you have your park and you can, like all your roller coasters too, at least so far, you have to build them. There's no like pre-made ones that you can just plop down. Like when you say, like, I want to build this type of coaster, it's like, okay, build it. So you have to
Hmm.
like do all of the things, which is cool. Like I love that. Being able to like actually build your own coaster is pretty cool. There are other rides like your Ferris wheel and carousel that you can just plop down and do whatever. But when you build like food and stuff, you have to build like employee paths to like the back of
Uh-huh.
them to, and you
Ah.
have haulers that bring food and stuff, and like then you have to like hide that because you want your park to be immersive. So you
Hmm.
don't want the patrons to see like those employee things. So then you have to strategically place like uh foliage and like fences and stuff to hide the like the
Hmm.
behind the scenes stuff. So it's like it adds this like little bit of extra stuff. So you have to
Hmm.
like it like before in like Roller Coaster Tycoon, you just plop food in like bathrooms wherever because it didn't matter. Because mostly
Hmm.
people were like, I need to go to the bathroom or whatever, and I need one closer. But now it's like they don't want to see the bathrooms because that breaks the immersion. Which part of me
Hmm.
is like, that feels a little bit of a stretch, but then
Yeah.
it also makes it more strategic where you place food. At least for me, because I'm like, I want the quickest path and the one that gets all of them at the same time potentially, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like trying to not build too many of those employee paths and like hiding them correctly. But
Hmm.
it's been pretty fun. Like, I mean, if you love Roller Coaster Tycoon, you will love Parkitect.
Okay. I never played Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Mm. Oh, I love. Oh man.
I've seen it. I've watched like I those were always the games like I always wanted to play when I was younger. But just kind of never got around to it.
Mhm.
And but I've always heard like fun things about them. And
Yeah, it's just it's one of those ones where you can just like lose. It's like a Factorio or
Hmm.
that it's that type of game. It's like a builder, so it's
Yeah,
just
it sounds like that Banished game we talked
oh
about
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
a
is
couple.
somewhat, yeah.
There's uh from that Xbox partner showcase. There's another game coming out called Manor Lord.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I pulled up the showcase so I
it's
could see all the games.
Yeah, and it looks kind of like Banished, but also includes like combat rate, like raids from
Huh. So it's
enemies.
like
So,
a Stronghold Crusader kind of.
yeah, yeah. So you build a village, you build, you place these houses, these farms, and all these roads and stuff. But then you also have to have like a militia or some kind of like
Mm.
force to like protect against, um, like these raiding knights or whatever you have. But so that one's I'm gonna keep an eye out for because I'm very, very curious because I think like as much as like I did enjoy like the little bit I played a Banished,
Hmm.
but I think the extra challenge of adding in combat would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's always where like I struggled in like that's why I just can't do those type of games like those RTS. Like
Hmm.
I can't man it. I need to like focus only on what's on my screen. I can't like also be worried about like something that's over
Something
here.
that may or
So
may not
like
happen.
yeah, and so it's like, you're playing like StarCraft or like Stronghold or whatever, and it's like, okay, you build your army to send them over here, but then another raiding one comes to your town, and it's like, all right, well, I'm
Hmm.
dead. Like
Yeah.
I can only focus on one thing at a time.
That's because I played a lot of Age of Empires.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was I love it. I love Age of Empires. I haven't really gotten into the most recent one. I think it's four.
Mm.
Um, but I played the heck out of one, two, and three. So, but that's kind of similar to what you're saying, where it's like, you make this big army, and then like, all right, I'm gonna go raid, and it's like you leave nothing left to defend your town, and you just
Yeah.
get steamrolled. And like, okay, I guess I'll start over.
What was the game that it's like Age of Empires? Is that the one that goes through time? Or what's the like where you start
Oh,
and it's like
Yeah,
step.
Age of Empire. Are you thinking of Civilization?
No, it's a game. It's like Age of Empires. It's like a real time strategy like that, like a lot, moving troops and stuff. But it's like
Hmm.
you work your way like from the Stone Age to the Iron Age. Because I just and I can't
Yeah.
I think about this all the time. Like I remember this so distinctly. My friends were playing this at one point. This particular game that I can't think of. I think it's Age of something, but I can't think of what the last word
Well,
is.
I mean, Age of
Oh,
Empires
Age of
does.
Mythology.
Oh, Age of
Is that
Mythology.
it?
That's an offshoot of Age of Empires.
Yeah, I think it's
So
that one.
I love Age of Mythology. That was a great game.
But like I think like I okay, so this is what I remember, and I always think about this. It's so funny to me. They like put in cheats in that where like they're taking a boat full of like their troops to like go attack another thing, but their troops are all Dodge Cobras with machine guns attached to them. And I was like, that was like the first experience I had in that game, and I was like, what is this game? And like they had just like put cheats to like get to the point like they skipped like getting all the way to the modern age or whatever, and that was like
Hmm.
part of the modern age, just like Dodge Cobras as troops with machine guns on the sides of there, and it was just like murdered everyone. But I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a game I want to play for sure. I think it was Age of Mythology. It might not be that now that I think about it, because that's
Age,
all about gods and stuff, but
yeah, that's mythology and stuff.
I'll
Hence the
figure that out
title.
sometime. I
But
just remember that
but I
so
will say
distinctly.
that Age of Empires and to I think Age of Mythology as well. They're like really well known for having cheats where you can spawn in like a monster truck.
Oh, okay, maybe it is one of those.
So it could be. I don't know. Trying to think what are the games that might, but I don't know. We'll figure that out and get back to y'all.
Yeah, this is important things that we will get back to you about.
Yeah, got to know
I
about
did
those Dutch
see
coves.
in that showcase, I didn't even know that showcase was happening. Um, they are doing. Is this a new Metal Gear Solid, or is this a remake?
It's a remaster of three.
of three. Okay, man, three was like that was the first Metal Gear Solid I ever played, and that was my first foray into a game that was. I don't know if it was hard, but to me that was so difficult. I never
Oh
beat it.
no, I was I don't know if it was three, or maybe it was two, but anyway, there was an old demo I used to play a lot, and it was just like it was just Snake on a boat. Um,
Isn't there a movie about that? No, it's
yeah, I
playing.
think Samuel L. Jackson or something. But he's in everything, so.
Yeah.
But it was just basically you just play a snake sneaking around a boat, just like doing a tutorial. And I played that so much. Never played the actual game, but I played the heck out of that demo. And it, like you said, it was hard. It was like
Yeah.
those Metal Gear Solid games were they're hard because like I'm not good at being stealthy.
Oh yeah, me either. Especially when that's because it's not forgiving. It's like actually stealth, like where like you have to move slow too, otherwise the sound of your footsteps will like draw their attention. Where in like Starfield, it's like, am I crouched? Cool, you're hidden.
Yeah.
Or in
Well,
like
that's the
yeah,
Bethesda special. It's like
yeah,
shoot a
exactly.
guy in the head with an arrow. It's like, what was that? The wind.
Where'd that come from?
But that's Bethesda's charm, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah, no. So the Metal Gear Solid remake, it looks great. It looks beautiful.
visually looks stunning.
Yeah. So there's a couple of games. They're doing a new RoboCop game.
I saw that too. Yeah,
Yeah. I love RoboCop. It looks a little generic from what I. It's just
yeah, yeah. Run and gun.
yeah, basically. I mean, it's still cool and all because you're
Yeah,
RoboCop.
it's
But
RoboCop.
it's RoboCop. I mean, that's like peak '80s action right there. Um,
I did see. So I did see too. Alan Wake 2 was announced as well, and like I never played the first one. I know it's like people love that game, but excuse me. I did see maybe like a Reddit post or an article that was talking about how it was like, are the system requirements for Alan Wake 2 ridiculous? And that was the only thing I saw. I didn't read the article. I just saw that like headline. So I don't know if like that one, because I know even the first one like visually looked really good. So I'm wondering if they're just like pushing the limit with like this. But have you ever played any like that one, like the Alan
no,
Wake
I
games?
never did play. I never did play Alan Wake. I don't know. For some reason, it just never appealed to me.
Yeah, me either. It wasn't anything that I like. I don't know. It's just it
Yeah,
looks like I might like it. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I'm sure I probably would have enjoyed it. But it's like when the first one came out, it's like if I'm going to spend money on a game, I want to make sure it hits.
I know we're getting close to time here, but I wanted to talk about this because we both love Lord of the Rings. But
Yes.
there was a new Lord of the Rings game that came out just in the last week. Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. And I haven't played it yet. I have a buddy who's been playing it. And like from things I said, like he loves it. He says it's really good. If you like Lord of the Rings, it's apparently like even better because it's all inside of the mines of Moria. But it's basic. One headline I saw was like it's Lord of the Rings meets Minecraft because it's a survival game. So it's gather resources, build stuff. Like I think my buddy even kind of said it was more like Valheim,
Oh,
which I love
I mean,
Valheim too.
that's yeah, exactly.
So
Interesting.
it's
How did
right now. It's
how
on,
did I
it's,
not hear about
It's not
this?
on Steam.
Okay,
That's probably why you didn't. It's on the Epic Game Store.
oh,
So
I don't use Epic, so
yeah, the only game I have over there. Actually, I do have two. I have Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Tiny Tina's Wonderland, are the only two games I think I own on the Epic Game Store. But it came out on Epic, so I
Interesting.
don't know how much it is either, but I am very interested in it. And it's even like Valheim, where you can play it solo, you can play it co-op with like up
Yeah.
to 4 people, I think. So
that's cool. I'll have to check that out because, well, yeah, I'm usually like pretty up to date on Lord of the Rings games, but this one kind of snuck under the radar.
yeah, I never heard anything about this. Like the only Lord of the Rings games I'd heard recently were, the oh man, I just Shadow and Mordor. Like
Yeah,
those in the
Which
last
I
couple
love
years,
those
and then
games. Those were fun.
wasn't there a remake
I remember
Another.
there was at least talk remake of like for Battle for Middle Earth.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know
Um,
if anything's like
I
moved
don't know
on
if
that
anything ever came of that, but yeah,
because that was a great game.
that was
Uh,
another one that I was not good at. But
no, I mean, well, I was okay because it was a little Age of Empire-y a little bit,
yeah,
and that it was like a real time strategy kind
hmm
of.
the one, the remake I want to see is the all those PlayStation 2 games, like the ones that based on the
Yes, like
movies.
the Two
Those were
Towers.
those were
Yeah, so
so
good,
good. Just
so good.
and that was
And like,
EA. I'm pretty sure that was an EA game.
was it?
I'm almost positive.
Feel dirty.
Yeah.
Loving an EA game. But it was just like every time you unlocked a character, you're like, oh, we got to play through this whole thing again.
Yep, with a new character. Yeah, it's EA.
Wow.
Produce all those games. They're just like perfect.
There was a time
for the time.
There was a time that EA was not a piece of crap
Yeah.
publisher.
Yeah, because like I was trying to think when I saw that what I said earlier in the podcast about EA just like shoving money into the furnace that is Madden and NHL and NBA. What other games have they released recently?
I don't know.
I literally couldn't name one that's
I mean,
not.
yeah, basically. No, I really don't know. Like, I kind of they've just kind of become associated with just strictly like sports games, which is a huge moneymaker, obviously.
Right. I'm sure there are some.
Oh, I'm sure there are, but
Oh, Mass Effect.
well, when was the last time Mass Effect had a new game? Like, what was it? Andromeda was the last one.
I think so. So they have. I just looked on I'm on Wikipedia looking at games released since 2020 that aren't sports. Command and Conquer Remastered, The Sims. I forgot they own The Sims. Madden, Sports, Madden, Sims, Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was actually a decent one that I have in my library. I never actually played, but
I forgot they also made the Medal of Honor series, or they published that, which like
okay.
back in the day before Call of Duty took off, I would argue that the Medal of Honor games were way better.
Yeah,
Like
nope,
at least in terms
I
of
would,
those like the story part, right? Because like I don't remember playing Medal of Honor games like as like in multiplayer, but like I played like the Medal of Honor for like the story mode was pretty awesome.
yeah, no, Medal of Honor was definitely the game of choice, I guess, for like that kind of like war
Yeah.
first person shooter.
Oh, they do Battlefield too.
What about Battlefield 3?
And they also do Dead Space.
Dead Space, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Did Dead Space just get a remake
Yeah,
or remaster?
Yeah, January this year was the remaster of the original. That was a game I don't like horror. It's too scary. So
Too scary.
but that game looks like it would be fun. Like one of my coworkers was playing it. He got the remaster that came with like the helmet, like the collector's edition and everything.
Oh,
And
okay.
he said it was really good, but it's too scary.
It's too scary.
I get too scared.
I don't know. But like for me, it's like I've never really like horror, like not even just video games, but like horror movies just don't. I don't really enjoy them that much. They're just
Yeah, it's definitely not because they're scary. I just don't enjoy them either.
no,
Yeah. Not because they're scary.
Nah, I don't know. It's just they're never really like. I don't know. I'm sure that there are good scary movies out there that are like actually like clever, but it just seems like, if you've seen one Michael Myers movie, you've probably seen them all.
Yeah.
Yep. Not to take away from anything, but it's just like the concept, while great, at least back in the 80s when it started, or was it 70s? Was it late 80s?
I think it was 80s,
I think it was
right?
80s, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. Those slasher films back then were huge, but I don't know. They don't appeal to me anymore.
Yeah.
But Is what it is. Well, speaking of, while we're just kind of getting ready to close up, but we did finally get a premiere date for the new Fallout TV
Oh,
show.
yeah, that's right. I, I, when we talked about movies and TV shows based on video games a couple episodes ago, I think when we talked about Fallout, it was like we were both super hopeful for it, but it's like I wouldn't be surprised if it just like kind of floated away into
Yeah,
non
it
ever
just kinda
existing.
got stuck in
So
production hell.
the fact that we finally have a premiere date of April 12th of next year is awesome because that's only 6 months away.
Yeah.
So I am.
Which is funny because we haven't seen like there was like a period where they like threw out a bunch of like production shots,
Yeah.
like or in production shots,
photos of set.
yeah, photos of sets, and then it's been quiet since, nothing like hardly any time, and now we're like, okay, it's gonna drop in 6 months. So like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
so cool.
I'm cautiously optimistic still, just because
yeah.
like because we haven't heard anything. Like I know the story is focused on like the ghoul, whatever that actor's name is. I cannot remember. He's like
remember.
always like a supporting character in a lot of things, and I think he's like the main character in this one. But he's like a ghoul, so like I know it's like that is part of the story, but I have no idea like anything else about the plot or whatever. So I'm like, I think my biggest thing, and I think we talked about this too, is like, are they going to keep like that humor that Fallout is known for, like the like dark kind
I
of?
hope so.
I feel like because if they
has to,
don't,
right?
man, I'm gonna be so mad.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna make like the main point of view from a ghoul, you have to have a sense of humor,
oh, for
right?
sure.
You know, because that's just kind of hard to take seriously 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I hope they keep and the aesthetic too of Fallout,
Yeah.
like the kind of like 50s,
Yeah. Retro future.
yeah, retro future kind of vibe, which is so cool. And also funny that they just announced the premiere date. They also, for this is a little off topic, but they just also announced that for anybody that ever plays Magic the Gathering, they're releasing a Fallout expansion set, or an expansion set, a Fallout set, I think next year as well, probably in sync with when the movie or this TV show releases. So that'll be interesting.
I guess I'm gonna be getting into Magic then.
Well, I mean, honestly, they are going hard on these.
Like
It's
tie-ins?
called Universe. It's called Universe Beyond, where it's tie-ins of pop culture things. Like they've already done the Lord of the Rings set.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Because
doing
like the ring was like that was like the card,
well, yeah,
right?
because they made one. They literally made
Oh.
one
Okay.
card.
The one
But
ring.
you could still get the One Ring. It was still a card, but they just made one special version of that card that
Oh,
existed.
okay.
And of course, it ended up in the hands of Post Malone, who is
Oh yeah,
two
that dude
things.
sold it to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Post Malone is two things: very wealthy and a huge Magic nerd.
He's
So-
just a huge nerd. He is.
He is.
He's got Pit Boy tattooed on his like
No,
calf.
no kidding.
Yeah. Like doing that.
Oh yeah.
So
So that's cool. I mean, I was at least happy. Like I think he bought it for like $2 million.
yeah, he bought it. Yeah, he did that dude good. Like
Yeah, he
doing
did.
that.
Just for a guy who bought it from a set box.
Yeah.
at a local game store in Canada too, which
Yeah.
is I would have figured it would be in the States more likely, but nothing
What are you gonna do?
against Canada.
I did see. Speaking of, I know we're doing the Midwest goodbye to get out of the
I
podcast
was
right
gonna
now.
say,
But
just
you
gonna
brought
sneak
up
by you and grab the ranch there.
I got just let me. But you bring up Post Malone. I wanted to talk about this because it is video game related. In November, the next season of Apex Legends is going to feature Post Malone.
Oh my god!
So I don't know what that means. I don't know, like, is there going to be a limited time map? Is he going to be? I don't think he's going to be in the game. It's not like Fortnite in that
Where
way.
they
but
do like those
Post
concerts
Malone,
kind of thing too.
yeah, I don't know. I think because Post Malone plays a lot of Apex. Like he streams
Really?
Apex whenever he has time to stream. Like that's one of his games is like Apex. So like they're partnering with him to do something. So I'm like, as someone who plays Apex like semi frequently, like I'm kind of interested to see what this is going to be. Because because I wish I had the cup right now, but we have a bunch of the cups from Raising Cane's too, because he did that partnership with them.
Jeez. Gosh, that must be the life, right? Play video games. Oh, I need to go make $1,000,000. I'll be right back.
Right. I'm gonna go play a show. Sponsored by Bud Light.
And Raising Cane's.
Yeah. And now Apex Legends. Oh,
And
I guess
Apex.
EA does Apex too, now that I think about it.
Oh, that's
I know,
right.
I come out here and I'm like, EA doesn't make anything other than Madden, and then like I play one of their other biggest games.
Well, I mean, maybe they just. I mean, I guess that maybe they thought that maybe it's best people don't know that we make this game as much.
Who
Who
knows?
knows? I don't know. EA's awful. But for the sports games, EA sports games are just awful because it's just monetization on a sports skin, basically.
Yep.
So, but well, yeah, that's another day's topic.
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap it up. Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff. I'll be sure to our next episode. I should have some time with ARK.
Oh yeah.
The new ARK, and I can actually give you a
I'm curious if
100%
it's like,
honest review of a game that I've spent many thousand hours on.
I'm curious like if you run into any like ridiculous bugs.
I hope so.
That's really what I'm. Yeah, me too.
I was actually I'm a little disappointed that like with playing like Starfield that I haven't run into any bugs. You know?
I just
So
had the ones where like
game.
the people like fall through the floor or like
That one's hilarious. See,
jitter.
that I
Oh,
want.
man,
I
it's
want
so
that, but I
funny.
haven't gotten that.
Yeah, and they might have patched it out
the
at
only,
this point.
okay, so I lied. Okay, there's one bug.
Let
that
me squeeze right on by you.
yeah, there's one bug that I've had where in Aquila City, which by the way, I'll save this for another episode. But anyway, I was going to ask you like what your favorite settlement is in Starfield.
We'll save that for.
But the bug I'm encountering in Aquila City, just in Aquila City, is that all the security guards are in their underwear. Not all the security guards, but most of the security guards are in their underwear. So I'm like, this feels like home. So
That's amazing.
so
What a great way to end the
yeah,
podcast.
right. It's just naked people. But yeah. So I'll definitely have more to talk about ARK next week. And I'm sure there'll be some more news. I'm really going to look more into this Return to Moria thing because I'm very curious about that. And maybe get some information on if that is ever going to spread from anywhere other than the Epic lineup, but probably not.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
We'll see.
so which is unfortunate. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks again for listening. We are the 8-Bit Upstarts. My name is Nate,
I'm Tommy.
and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Later.